Well, good morning. Today is Tuesday, August 29th, and today is my nephew Tommy's birthday. So I know he's Tom. He's 50 years old. We just went to his 50th birthday party on Saturday, or Sunday rather. But he's 50, but I still call him Tommy. Jimmy's Jimmy, Tommy's Tommy. That's the way it goes. Danny's Danny. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Tommy. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Blow him a kiss even though he does not watch my channel. But I'm still going to acknowledge his birthday. But it's also Ralphie Castanago. C-A-S-T-A-G-N-O. Castanago. I think it's Castanago. But it's Ralphie's birthday. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday to you. Happy birthday, dear Ralphie. Happy birthday to you. Cha-cha-cha. Well, I hope both of you guys have a great, great birthday. But we also have an anniversary. Today is Corey and Carrie over at Weight Watchers with Carrie. Corey and Carrie's 36th anniversary. Happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary, happy anniversary. Happy, 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 happy anniversary. Happy, 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 happy anniversary. Well, I hope you have a great anniversary. I know they're going to Minnesota for their anniversary. They live in Wisconsin. I don't know exactly where they're going, but Corey wants to have some Indian food. I've never had Indian food. We just have a new, and I know it's not the same, but we just have a new Thai restaurant open over by us. I think I might like it because I do like spicy foods. So that's like the ribs I made last night for dinner. I thought were delicious. They had just enough of a kick to them. It was just too much of a kick for Jim. Jim doesn't like anything spicy. So next time I make it, I won't put any of the pepper flakes on the rub. Well, maybe I will. I'll just put it on my end. Because I cut them in half and then put them in. Maybe I'll just put it on my rib. My ribs, I'll just do that. So, I should have shown you the front, all of everybody's garbage center because of the, what do you call it, the flooding of everybody's basements. Everybody that I've talked to in my neighborhood's basement flooded. My next door neighbor was outside talking during, it was just like raining, and she was talking to her neighbor across the street, and she says all of a sudden the sewer made this little really weird gushing sound, and then all of a sudden all the water came gushing out of the sewer. People on Facebook are complaining that they shut off certain sewer systems or diverted sewer water to other people's subdivisions, and I think that's what happened with us. So we got the flooded basements. Some people got the no electricity. I don't know, I kind of weigh it. Which one would I would rather have the no electricity because I have a generator. But, so anyway, they got that. We got the basement all cleared up, but the front of my house looks awful. It looks awful. I just feel so bad for the trash men when they come. We have men, not women. I've never seen a trash woman. I'm sure there are, but we've never had one come by in our neighborhood. But, oh my gosh, we have so much stuff. And then David brought all of the stuff up from the basement. The only thing he didn't bring up was the toilet because he said it was too heavy for him. But he brought up the sink, which I thought they were going to throw away. They told me they were going to throw it away, but they didn't. We told them to throw it away. They were too busy taking stuff that they shouldn't have taken, rather than taking the stuff away that we wanted them to take away. So I haven't heard from my insurance adjuster yet, so I'm still waiting on that. He said to give them till Friday, so we'll wait till Friday to hear about that. And then if not, I'll have to wait till Tuesday or Wednesday because it's the Labor Day weekend. It's hard to believe it's Labor Day already. So I made a comment on one of Danielle Nicole's videos, and then after I sent it, I realized it sounded like I was being a bitch. So I had to go back and edit it to let her know that I was just kidding. I know that she would know I was just kidding, but sometimes people read comments and then they start attacking you because they don't see the humor behind it. So, because I put something like pumpkin, 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 oh, so it begins. Because I don't like pumpkin. I just don't like pumpkin. And now it's pumpkin latte and pumpkin spice and pumpkin muffins. And I didn't think pumpkins were harvested until October. But obviously I'm wrong on that because everything's pumpkin. It's already coming out already. So, pumpkin I don't like. No, I've tried it. I'll eat it. I went to somebody's house one time and they made these muffins and they were just bragging about how good they were, and that's what they served for dessert. Didn't want to hurt their feelings, so I ate it. The only time if somebody serves coconut, I'm allergic to coconut. I will tell them I'm not going to eat coconut, but drank a lot of water with that pumpkin muffin. I tell you, because it was like... But anyway, it's kind of boring. I think the reason I'm reading so much is because there's nothing on TV because of the writer's strike. I'm surprised that it's still going on this long. I support what they're doing. I understand that, like all the big top executives are making all the money, and the poor little writers that do all the work are not getting their fair share with all the franchising and stuff going on. So I completely support them in that. But I like when they say none of the Chicagos will be back in 2023. Well, of course not, because they're on strike, and it's going to take a while for them to write their stories and then to get them filmed. So I don't see any regular programming on network TV probably till February, unless they solve it really quick. But I don't see that happening. So Jim's going to caulk the outside window, which today I think he is. He said he was going to caulk the outside window. And then there's a little crack in the brick. The guy said that it's not leaking. He says, but that crack is going to spread, so it's better to fix it now, which we never noticed. It's not that big of a crack. It's only about that big, which I know is big, but in the whole scheme of a house, it doesn't seem that big, but they do tend to creep along. And then they did find a couple more cracks that weren't leaking yet, but they caulked them and sealed them so that they wouldn't lead to future leaking, so I like that. I forgot to call my nephew last night to remind him that he's coming this weekend, to tell him that he's got an extra job to do, just so he'll plan for that, to bring the right tools. And Danny and Brooke come by last night. We just got talking and we never filmed, so I never got that filming in. And like I said, David was too sweaty and he didn't want to be on it. We had some leftover ribs, which he gladly took, so he did take them. And then we did pay him for bringing things down from the basement up, and he was telling us that he didn't want it, and I kept saying, David, take it. We would have paid somebody else to do it, so just take it. And he was very reluctant, but payday's not till Friday, so he did take it. So he's a good kid. He really is. He's a man. He's 22, but I still think of him as a kid. We never called him Dave or Davey. Jimmy calls him Dave, but I call him David. I've always called him David. So, and Alyssa's Alyssa. They got a full name. Christy has a full name, Christy. Although Aaron calls her Chris. So, my mother-in-law used to drive me crazy because I didn't like anybody calling her Chrissy. I didn't want to be called Christy. I wanted her to be called Christy because that's her name. And so his mother, just to annoy me, would call her Chrissy all the time. She never called her Christy. Never once in her life. So, I had to get used to that. And then I just find that it's easier not to let people know that it bothers you. Because I thought maybe if I didn't let her know that it bothered me. Because I did correct her a couple times at the beginning when Christy was just a baby. And she says, no, I want to call her Christy. And then I thought, well, people have nicknames. I have nicknames for all my grandkids and for my nephews and nieces and stuff. So I thought, oh, okay. So I never let her know that it bothered me, but she never stopped. She always called her Christy. So that was her nickname for Christy. So, and then obviously, you're not going to tell the spouse how to talk to their wife. Just things you get over with. But anyway, I already ate my breakfast. I had a bowl of oatmeal with half of a bagel. It's a little carb heavy, I know, but I think my body was requiring the carbs. So it was kind of feeling a little like I needed it. And then, but that was like 4 hours ago, and that really filled me up. I do notice that with the protein, it's filling me up. And then I'm doing the balance exercises. You hear that word out of my mouth? Exercises that Bob and Brad have for the balance. So I've been trying that. So I look like a fool. But when I go to the bathroom, like if I'm going to go down the hall to go to the bathroom, I walk sideways the one way there, and then I walk sideways the way back. While I'm cooking, I do little, like up and down squats between the two counters. There's an exercise where you just got to keep moving your head back and forth to kind of loosen up the wax in your ear or something in your ear. So I've been doing all of those things, and I have to say I do notice a little bit of a difference. I really do. And then Denise stopped by to show me her backsplash, the cupboard door, and the countertop that she picked out for her house. She still has to put her house up for sale. She was going to put it up in July. Now she's hoping before the middle of September, which is better for her because she didn't really want to move into a rental home. And the longer she's here, the less time she's going to have to spend in a rental home. And then one of the people that came to the garage sale, when she asked her, she says, "Oh, you planning on moving?" And Denise said, "Yeah." Well, then right away they want to sell the house. But we have a realtor that I have that sold me this house and my other house, and sold my other house. So I mean, she's really good. And then Denise has had her for 3 moves and found her 4 houses. So she's had her like 7 times. She's still doing it, because the last time we used her was in 2006. So, but she's a really good real estate agent. But anyway, when we were talking to the real estate agent, we were talking about, having to stay in the house and that. She says, people are so desperate to find a house, even with the interest rate as high as it is, that nobody's got their house up for sale, because the people that have houses don't want to sell them because they have a lower interest rate, and they don't want to sell their house to go into a bigger interest rate. Denise and Gary were able to lock in at a lower rate when they signed up for the condo, it'll be a year in February, when they were supposed to be in by I think it was June. They were supposed to be in for June, but then everything kind of got backlash with the weather and everything. So now they're talking December, like almost 2 years from when they actually put their deposit down. But she said that you can always ask for 60 days occupancy, because people will give it because they want to buy a house, especially if they like your house. They're willing to give, most people, not all people, but most people will give you the 60 days. And then you have 30 days from the signing, so that's 90 days. So that puts her right around December. So she might be living with me for a couple of weeks before Christmas, depending on how far along her house is. And then this weekend, I'm going to deep clean my house. I know, I'm getting ready for my cleaner. I know that sounds silly, but I think that in my mind, I think it would be cheaper for me to do a deep clean of my house myself. And then when they come in, then they would just do the light every other week, dusting and washing the floors and vacuuming and things like that. And I just don't want anybody to see my house as dusty as it is. I told you the other day, I think that if I had mice, they would be writing little, "Hi, how are you? Put some cheese out," in the dust, with their little fingers on their paws, writing it out. But thankfully, I've never had a mouse in my house here. We had mice at our other house. We had a cat. You would have thought we wouldn't have had mice, but we had a cat. But anyway, Jim never had mice growing up. We lived by a field, so we had a lot of field mice. And with 6 kids going in and out of the house all the time, the door never closed all the way. We always had mice. We had traps all over the house. You'd be watching TV and you'd hear a trap go off. Kitchen, hallway. It was just that was part of my growing up. I'm definitely afraid of mice too. Oh my God, a mouse. That would if I had a mouse in my house, I don't know, I would go crazy. I just really would go crazy. But anyway, our other house, we had a mouse. And I know it was just a mouse, because it was like a bigger mouse, but it looked like a pregnant mouse. And so I told Jim, I said, we got to get rid of that mouse, because pretty soon we're going to have mice. And he says, "Oh, we're not going to have mice." And I go, "That's a pregnant mouse." And pregnant mice lay a lot of mice. So he put these traps around the vent that we saw the mouse go down. It doesn't matter. Just because it came down that vent or came out of that vent doesn't mean that it has like its own little tunnel system through the house. It knows exactly where it wants to go. Okay, turn right at this one and turn left at that one, and we'd come up in the living room. One of those kind of mice. It was a smart mouse. Anyway, so he put 4 traps all around this vent. It was a floor vent. He put them all around the floor vent with peanut butter and cheese on it. And we went to bed, and we woke up in the morning. All 4 traps were set, like snapped, but the cheese and the peanut butter was gone. It was one smart mouse, let me tell you. So no, the first day he only put 1 trap. That was it. He only put 1 trap, and it ate the cheese and the peanut butter off the cheese. So then the next night is when he put the 4 things around, and I said, "That's a pretty smart mouse." And he says, "Well, thankfully they can't. They're pretty low to the ground." And I said, "Jim, if they wanted to get up in the bed here, they'd be up in the bed." He says, "Oh no, they're not going to be up in the bed." And I go, "Yeah, what they do is they jump up grab onto the dust ruffle on the bed, and then they climb up to the blanket, onto the bedspread, and then they climb up and then they get on." He says, "That's not true." And I go, "Jim, I grew up with mice. I had traps underneath my bed. I'd be sleeping at night and I would hear the traps going off underneath my bed. Trust me, I know that there's mice, and I know that they can do." No. So he was just falling asleep, and I rubbed my foot very gently down his leg, and I go, "Oh my God, the mouse is in the bed." He jumped out of that bed so fast. He was like, oh my God. And then he was mad at me. He didn't think it was funny. He didn't think that was a funny joke. And just then we heard the trap go off. And we went in there and we caught the mouse. And it was really just the one mouse, but it did look pregnant. And then we never had another mouse the whole time. We were in the house maybe 2 years when that happened. And then we lived in that house for 20 years, and we never had another mouse that we saw, or droppings or anything like that. We never saw any evidence of a mouse. So maybe the cat figured out, well, I guess I better do my job, or else they're going to get rid of me. Look what they did to that mouse. So, but anyway, it's like I've never had mice here, the whole point of it. So sometimes I'll think, did I have a mouse? And I'll deliberately leave a little piece of cheese out in the middle of the living room floor on the rug and go to bed. And then I'm very thankful in the morning when I see that little piece of cheese still sitting there. Only me would do something like that. I just so don't like mice. Bees don't bother me. Over at Denise's garage there, she's petrified of bees, and they were buzzing me and they were landing on me, and she'd jump up and run. Bees don't bother me, but if there would have been a mouse, look out, get out of the way, because I'm coming through. So anyway, today I wanted to talk about just thinking of yourself as beautiful. I think that sometimes it's a detriment not to care what people think about you, because I really don't care what people think about me. I mean, I want to be liked. Everybody wants to be liked. Everybody wants to be loved. They really do. But I've just reached a point in my life, and I've had that point my whole life. Like I've said this a million times, and my kids get so tired of hearing it. But the reason God put so many people on earth is because not everybody's going to like you, and you're not going to like everybody. So you just got to find out the ones that like you and stick with them. And the ones that don't like you, they're lost. They didn't take the time to get to know you. Maybe they got the time maybe they took the time to get to know you and they don't like you. Oh well, I'm not going to bend over backwards just so that you like me. I mean, if I'm doing something that's annoying, I want to know. If I'm doing something that's disturbing or rude or anything like that, oh, please let me know. Denise bought some new chairs. Prime example. Denise brought some new chairs, and I don't like them. They're ugly. They're just, and it doesn't look like Denise. I mean, like everybody, your house kind of represents who you are. And I'm thinking those chairs don't represent who you are. So I didn't say anything, because my mother always said, if you haven't got anything nice to say, don't say anything at all. So we were sitting at the garage sale, and one of her friends came in, they were talking, and then she says to me, she says, oh no, she called me that night. She says, you didn't even say anything about my chairs. And I said, well, Mom said if you didn't like something, not to say something, and I don't like them. Well, she took offense. She took offense at that. So when her friend came the next day at the garage sale, and she told her that, and I said, well, what did you want me to say? And she says, well, you could have been nicer about it. You could have said, oh, I'm glad that you like those. They probably fit your style. And I go, but they don't fit your style. But I'm glad that you like them. So then her friend kind of laughed. And so then afterwards, she had said something, and I said, what was she talking about? Oh, this chair that she's getting for her tables. And I go, I am so glad that you like that chair. I bet you it'll fit in perfectly with the table you picked, and I bet it'll blend right in with your. And she says, "Oh, stop! You're just being obnoxious now," which is what I was. But she came over today and to show me her things, her cabinets and that she had picked out, and I was saying, well, I want to paint the bottom cupboards a different color, because as you can see, Jimmy only started the top cupboards because he replaced my top cupboards. So the top cupboards are one design, and the bottom cupboards are a little bit different design. And I said, I want to paint the bottom ones gray to kind of stand out, so it looks like I deliberately picked a different kind of a thing. And she said, oh, you know what, I bet you that'll work for you, because I know how much you like gray. And I go, oh, so you're trying to point out to me that you don't like that idea. She says, I am not being mean. So I says, that's okay, this is my house, not yours. I'm going to like what I like. So, but anyway, like I said, people can, like we've always said in my family, you want to look at me, look at me. You want to look at me twice, look at me twice. If you wanted me to stand here so you can take a picture, so you can talk about me to your friends afterwards, I'll stand here, you can take my picture. I don't really care. I really, really don't care. I have enough people in my life that love me and like me for who I am and put up with me. Because sometimes I can be a handful, I know that. and they love me enough to put up with my idiosyncrasies. So those are the people I want in my life. I'm not going to go out of my way to find people to come into my life, because I think I have enough love and joy in my family and in my friends and the people that like me, that I don't need to scope out and drag people into my net, because I have a pretty big net. I really do, and I'm very appreciative of it. And right now in my point of life, I'm not the prettiest. I mean, I got saggy skin, I got wrinkles, I got, age marks going all over my face. Most people get them on their arms and their hands. No, I'm getting them all over my face. I don't really care. It's just showing you if I've lived a life. I've really lived a life. And when I look in the mirror, I don't see an ugly person. I see a beautiful person. Maybe not in looks. I'm not saying I'm a beautiful person as far as looks, but I think as far as compassion and love and understanding, my inner beauty, I think I have, and I'm not bragging when I say that. I just think I have a good inner beauty. Don't have an outside great inner beauty, but I'm not ugly. I mean, nobody's going to beat me with a stick. No, I don't think anybody's going to beat me with a stick. And if I see somebody coming with a stick, I'm going to go the other way, just in case, because I don't want to get beat by a stick. But right now in my life, I'm just concentrating on being healthy, doing whatever I can to live a long life. Not worry so much about, I mean, I want to look good. Don't get me wrong. I mean, I want to look good, but I just think that at this point in my life, as long as I eat healthy, I have people that love me, I have my faith, I have my family, I got everything I need in life. And I have enough money to cover all my woes from this year. I am so looking forward to being done. I'm really looking forward to being done. I look around at my house and I'm thinking, what else could go wrong? I just think, I think that we pretty much fixed everything that could go wrong. I really do. We have a new air conditioner. We have a new furnace. We have a new roof. We have new windows. We have new siding. We have a new porch. We're going to have a fully waterproof basement when this is all done. A completely renovated basement. Yeah, I got everything going for me. And my health so far, knock on wood, is doing well. I have an appointment Friday to get an ultrasound of my thyroid. I'll know the results from that on the 12th of September. And just living on, thinking of the beautiful I see in people. I don't look at people for how they look. I look at how they treat other people. And it's just, we have this one this one person did really bother me. We have this one young man that works at Lowe's that's handicapped. He's in a wheelchair. And they're working on their backyard. They're building something. So he was taking his wheelchair and he was going in the back. And I always tease with everybody because we go to Lowe's a lot. Jim was always finding something at Lowe's. And I know them, like you know them, but you don't know them. You know what I mean? And I've gone through his line many times, and he's always grumpy. But I thought, well, maybe that's just him. So he was going by, and I was teasing him. He was with two other people, and I said, hey, wait a minute. You guys are supposed to be up at the register so you can take my order when I get up there. And he very snarkily said to me, I'm on my way to check it, to buzz in. If you could just wait a damn minute. I thought, oh, okay. So then when I went through the line, he was on the other register, and we were in a different register line because his line was too long. And then I walked over there and I said, I would really sincerely like to apologize if I offended you in any way. That was just my humor. I wasn't implying that you were lazy or that you weren't doing your job. I just don't want to think that you to think that I was making fun of you, because I wasn't. I just joke with everybody that way, and maybe some people don't understand my joking. Whatever. And I thought, he's got a chip on his shoulder. I mean, I feel bad that he's handicapped, but that's not my fault. It's just. But I don't know what his life has been like, so I just let it go. So, but I won't go through his line. And if I go through his line, I'm just going to try to be nice to him, but it's just, I know I'll be nice to him. What am I saying trying to be nice? I know I'll be nice to him. But it just kind of put me in a sour mood for a hot minute. And then I thought, you know what? He's one of the people that God put on earth that doesn't like me. And at this point, right today, I don't like him either. Let's move on. I'll find somebody else. There's a lot of beautiful people out there. So I guess what I'm trying to tell you is, don't worry about what you look like. Worry about your inner beauty. Don't worry about your outer beauty. And if you have an outer beauty, more power to you. But I just think inner beauty is better. And don't worry about what people think about you. I have a little cartoon of, I think it's David Roth from Van Halen. And it's just a little thing that kind of sums up what I'm feeling. Yeah, look at me, I don't care. This is how I am, this is who I am. Like, take me or leave me, I don't really care. But let me show you what I had to eat today, and then I'm going to tell you to like, comment, subscribe, and share. And oh my gosh, it's 25 minutes. I've gone on forever and ever. And I will talk to you very, very soon, which means tomorrow. Here's my breakfast. As I think I told you that I'm just counting protein, not so much points this week. So I have a bowl of oatmeal with a quarter cup of milk that's kind of mixed in already, 2% milk, half of Simply Light orange juice, and the other half is diet cranberry juice, cup of tea, my water, everything but the bagel, with a tablespoon of peanut butter and a banana. So it is a 17 gram of protein breakfast. Lunch today is an egg salad sandwich with a cucumber and half of a cucumber, half of a tomato, and a little bit of watermelon. The tea bag busted, and so look at all those tea leaves. Anyway, it is 21.2 grams of protein. So I'm up to 38.2 grams of protein for my breakfast and my lunch. Dinner tonight is a huge salad with some cottage cheese and pineapple. It is a 36 gram protein dinner, so I ended up the day with 74.2 grams of protein. I know it's a lot, but it's mostly lettuce, tomatoes, spinach. I have an ounce of cheese, an ounce of turkey, and a half a cup of cottage cheese, 2 tablespoons of my dressing.